to Nerd Sports. Today we're going to talk about being mean.
Okay, so for clarity.
Yeah, for clarity on this, people are getting fed up with the refs going out and giving out penalties for taunting in the NFL. And I watched a whole little video of it. And, yeah. You're going off the aspect of, it's unsportsmanlike, which it kind of is, but, you kind of want to hone your victory, but not get... I agree with the whole not getting into the person's face and everything.
Yeah.
That I totally agree. You don't do that, but, hide and stuff like that. But it's getting to the point to where it's almost like, what do you say? There was a spin the ball to where they got a taunt and spiking the ball. And back in our day, there was the same thing to where they had to stop the victory dance. Of course, basketball did a lot better with the river dance type stuff.
Well, okay, so in the case of the NFL, all right, so we saw a couple of those calls this weekend, and the most notable one was going to be from Lamar Jackson. And he was running in for a touchdown there at the end of the game, and he did kind of like a flip into the end zone. Mm-hmm. It wasn't needed because there was nobody there to try to like cut his legs out from underneath him or anything like that. It was just straight up taunting, and I think that with the purpose behind those calls is it's unsportsmanlike conduct. The NFL's got a hard enough time as it is managing its image. They don't need the athletes out there acting like complete jackasses.
It's not like one of the NFL didn't come out of the closet and end up killing people. That never happens, right?
Again, that's not the point.
I got you. Put that.
It's it doesn't do anything to advance the game. Whether or not these guys, I've stated a few weeks ago, I think it was about a month ago on one of our previous shows, whether these guys want to admit to it or not, whether they want to acknowledge it, whether they even want anything to do with it or not, it's irrelevant. But these guys are role models. And what the kids that are at home watching the games on TV with their parents are doing is they're looking at the way that these athletes behave. And you're going to get your holding calls, you're going to get your face mask calls, you're going to get your pass interference calls, you're going to get your false starts, your offsides, your encroachments, and things like that. But the taunting, for me at least, it has no place in the game. Because, you spike a ball next to the head of a guy that, just tried to tackle you and prevent you from scoring. Or, you get a much-needed first down, and so what happens? You turn around and you spin the ball right in front of the face of the guy, what good does that do? If anything else, all it does is it backs your team up because then you get that 15-yard personal foul. And it completely undoes and then some any progress that your offense has fought hard to get. And it could have very well taken you out of a potential game-tying or game-winning field goal range. It's just dumb. It's unnecessary. There's a lot of things in the NFL that are unnecessary. A lot of the calls that are catered towards protecting quarterbacks and things of that nature, I get that to a degree because it's protecting the quarterback. It's keeping the quarterback safe. It's keeping players safe. There's no targeting. You can't lead with the crown of your head because, you can end up hurting yourself or the other guy. Up into including paralysis or even in worst case scenarios, death. Okay, I get all that. I get the concussion protocols that are in place, and it's all about player safety, and it helps as far as the rules and competition committee are concerned, it helps protect the longevity of the player. Because if you go, and there was a study that was done a few years back that with out of all of the professional athletes, after they retire, NFL players are 50% more likely to become addicted to opiates because of pain. And they suffer more times than not. They're the ones that are suffering from CTEs. They're the ones suffering from TBIs. They're the ones suffering from chronic concussion syndrome. And I mean, these guys get in there, they're amped up. I mean, a lot of these players play pissed off because that's how they do it. That's the mindset that they choose to adopt whenever they're in there playing. And you're going to get a guy in there that's going to act like a complete jackass because why? He did something positive for his team, as far as like gaining yards or scoring, only to have it pulled back or have a penalty assessed after the fact because you're being a complete jackass. At the end of the day, it still boils down to a team sport. And while I'm all for having personality in the game because it makes the players a little bit more relatable as far as the fans are concerned, it doesn't do the game any good. It really doesn't. It would be like I mean, I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy, like especially when it comes to baseball. The occasional brawl is fine. Okay, these bench clearing brawls where the players are getting into it because somebody got hit with a pitch. It's the intent of the pitch. It's the actions of the person who charges the mound. I mean, if you're getting up there and you're just swinging, fine, clear the benches, do that. But if you start throwing helmets, you start throwing bats, you start leading with your spikes with the intent to cause harm, that's a completely different animal. That kind of behavior is not necessary in the game.
Unless you're in hockey, then
yeah, I was going to say, in hockey,
I mean, they have enforcers that actually that's their whole job.
Yeah, that's their job is to get out there and to be a goon.
Yeah,
but
I love that movie. That was actually a good.
Yeah, the first one was pretty good. I still haven't seen the second one. But,
the second one was all right.
But it. As far as the taunting rules are concerned, I mean, they're allowed 2 personal fouls, 2 unsportsmanlike conducts per game before they're ejected. But I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's. I don't want to say that these are the kind of things that require us to like assess penalties or anything like that. But more of at a certain point, people are going to be like, okay, I'm going to get away with 1 per game. And you're going to find players just like in any other area. I cannot talk today. Any other area of life, they're going to push the limits to see how far they can go. What is that line? Where's that line at between? Okay, you're just on this side of the gray to okay, now you've crossed the line. I think at some point, if we start seeing players test those boundaries, we need to make those rules a little bit more stiffer. I mean, then we need to make the penalties a little bit more stringent.
Well, that's what they're doing this year, from what I'm seeing, and they're trying to burst it a lot in the games to basically enforce the rules, so to speak, and get it to where everybody is on the same page.
Yeah,
basically.
And on top of that, I mean, we're looking at things like pace of play. I mean, that's unfortunately become part of our vocabulary when it comes to sports. I mean, baseball's got all these different rules in place to kind of speed the pace of play up in a game because, I mean, it takes 3 hours to play a 9-inning game. But as it is, you go to an NFL game or you sit down and watch an NFL game, it could take up to 3 hours to play an hour or, a 60-minute game between halftime, quarter breaks, penalties, timeouts. It drags on. And I don't like it. I don't like seeing the taunting. I don't. I mean, there's a fine line between personality and just basic being a horse's ass. And I just don't agree with it. That's my stance on it. But as far as the NFL, now before we get there, the people watching on YouTube, yes, my hat. I'm going to address this hat. This show's called Nerd Sports, okay? David and I are both nerds. I'm more of the sports guy than he is. But for those of you who know, I shouldn't have to explain myself, but for those of you who don't, my hat is Jane's hat from the series Firefly. And yesterday, in the fictional universe of Firefly, September 20th was Unification Day. So, there it is. But, just, all right, anyways, that's out there. And plus, on top of that, it's comfortable, and any man who wears a hat like that out in public, it just says he ain't scared of nothing.
That is true.
It is true.
Now, another football news is the Raiders Black Hole fan section co-founder, Rob Rivera, dies from COVID complications. Now I understood what happened. Apparently, he founded the fan base, and I was reading it while I was trying to listen to you at the same time. I'm not multi-talented as listen and read at the same time, but I was giving my college a try. But it was a location section of 104 to 107 of the Oakland Coliseum Southern End Zone. But since the team moved, 2020 moved to Las Vegas, is now resides in the Southern End Zone. But the founder ended up passing away this week.
Man, that's sad.
Another sports news is, I just had it here just 5 seconds. What? Okay, I don't need that. It was college. Utah starting quarterback Charlie Brewer leaves program just 3 games into the 2021 season. From what I was reading on this, he left, and the coach was like, "Well, which is best, which is blah blah blah." He left because the senior complications. I guess from last year's football game that wasn't all that.
Right.
He just felt that he was not quarterback material. So that happened.
Yeah. Gonna go over the scores here real quick. Excuse me. Week 2 of the NFL was pretty entertaining. The New York Giants continue to be a disaster. However, they barely got beat. They got beat by 1 point by the Washington football team, but a loss is a loss. They lost 29-30. The Patriots' first round draft pick, Mac Jones. Their quarterback. I'm looking it up here. I feel like a freaking moron, but
the New England Patriots quarterback Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Look at me. Hey. He notched his first career win yesterday after they beat the Jets, or not, was it yesterday? Sunday, when they beat the New York Jets, the 11th straight time in a row, but they beat the Jets 25-6. The Broncos beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville 23-13. The Bills showed up and decided to prey on the Dolphins and beat them 35-0. The 49ers go into Philadelphia and they beat the Eagles 17-11. And I'll get back to the Eagles in just a second. The Rams beat the Colts 27-24. The Raiders, the 2-0 Las Vegas Raiders, beat the Steelers 26-17 in Pittsburgh.
I saw that.
And this is the Let's see, David Carr. I mean, as a note here, 350 passing yards, two passing touchdowns in 3 consecutive games, which is the longest streak. And it says in Las Vegas history, but going back a little bit further than that, longest streak. And I'm guessing that they're trying to say Raiders history, which is kind of odd, considering the storied history of that franchise. But
I'm trying to find this. I know we're going off topic a little bit. What was that game that ended up the last 5 minutes of the game? I think it was in the 70s or 80s. Last 5 minutes game, the broadcast would just cut to the next show.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do our homework on that one. But let's see. The Bengals lost by 3 to the Bears, 17-20. The Texans got beat by the Cleveland Browns, 21-31. The Saints, who embarrassed the Green Bay Packers in Week 1, turned around and got embarrassed. Jameis Winston, he threw 2 interceptions in that game. And they got pummeled by the Panthers 26-7. The Cardinals beat the Vikings 33-34.
Oh, it wasn't even that. Okay, it was the Oakland Raiders scored 2 touchdowns in the 9 seconds to beat New York Jets, and no one sees it. And it was in 1968, and the reasoning for it to cut off was because of Heidi.
Oh, wow.
It's something that I just, because you're mentioning.
Look at you with the random factoid.
But no, the whole reason why I thought about that is because you said that some of the games run on and everything. That was the instance that the game ran on because it ran into overtime.
Yeah, I think that was before prime time. Kind of really.
No, after that they just, because they got calls and everything.
Oh yeah.
And they had Heidi was still playing, and they were doing the play-by-play on the screen and everything. You can watch it on YouTube.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, it is so hilarious. Yeah.
So Tom Brady again showed why he is the GOAT. Yeah, Sunday he had 4 touchdowns in 4 straight games. It's the second longest streak since 1950. But he goes in. They don't go into Atlanta. Atlanta goes down to Tampa Bay, and Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons have yet to figure out the Tom Brady mystery. So, there's that. The Titans beat the Seahawks in Seattle, 33-30. Let me see here. The Cowboys. I watched this. I didn't watch the game. I watched most of it, and I listened to the rest of it. They beat the Chargers in L.A. 20-17. You kind of had the feeling about this game that it was going to be who was going to kick the last field goal, and that's exactly what it came down to. Greg Zuerlein kicked a 52-yard field goal to win the game, or 56-yard field goal as time expired. So that was a pretty exciting win. I'm not going to be like, we them boys, because I'm never going to say that ever. But
I wasn't even going to mention it. We could have just swept it underneath the table, and I would have been all right with it.
I'm just saying.
But they did win.
They did get their first win of the season.
Let me do this in the Nerds ways. The Cowboys did win honorably in the sport of combat, so they were victorious.
A little redundant there, but okay. Let me try here. The Cowboys go into the relatively new battlefield of SoFi Stadium, nestled in the outskirts of Los Angeles, the city of angels, and squeaked out a win on the foot of Greg Zuerlein.
Fuck you for saying it there.
Damn
you, wordsmith.
The Sunday night game between the Chiefs and the Ravens, that was a good game. It was really hard to pick a favorite in that game, but the Ravens, they literally squeaked out a 1-point victory.
That's been happening here lately a lot.
Yeah.
It's either 1 point.
Well, because you
or-
had two marquee quarterbacks going against each other. You had Patrick Mahomes for Kansas City, and then you had Lamar Jackson going for Baltimore. But now, again, a win is a win. Both teams are 1-1. But it's only week 2, so look for those offenses and defenses to make adjustments. I mean, both teams are going to be scary in the AFC, so it's going to come down to those two guys. Those two teams, I think, in the postseason to decide who's going to go to the Super Bowl. And that's me calling my shot now. But the Lions and Packers on Monday night. The Lions came out to play. Unfortunately, they didn't come to play the whole game. They took a lead. They were up 17-14, I think it was. And then the second half started, and all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers decided he wanted to play football. And so, I mean, a majority of the offense from Green Bay was from the running back, Aaron Jones. But fun fact about him, I read this today. He plays that game. He plays the games with a necklace on underneath his pads, and it's a football-shaped pendant underneath it, right? But in the pendant is the ashes of his father.
Oh, okay.
And when he scored the last touchdown, he lost his necklace. And he was just like, yeah, well, the grounds crews are looking for it, but if I was going to lose it, I think my dad would be okay with me losing it in the end zone. It was ultimately found by the team trainer later. I think it was earlier today, but or it might have been late last night. But the team trainer did find it, and he came out and he confirmed that it was found. So the ashes, little ashes of his father, have been reunited with his son.
I was going to say that Axel Foley probably left at halftime.
Axel Foley.
Do you
I
get the
can't even, dude.
Do you get the reference?
Because Axel Foley was from Detroit. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I got
Well,
it.
no, he always wore the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Leatherman jacket.
I just. I can't do the Eddie Murphy laugh. I'm sorry. I just, yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's about as close as you're going to get.
Yeah, he has a very significant laugh.
Yeah, but I said I was going to come back to the Eagles later. Eagles and the Cowboys are both 1-1. They're both sitting atop the NFC East division right now. So next Monday night in Arlington is the home opener for the Cowboys. And they are playing the Eagles to see who wants the division lead for.
Are they starting to do Thursday night football more often now?
Oh, it's an every week game. It's an every week thing. So I mean, that's the first primetime game of the week, and then Monday Night Football. They wrap everything up because you've got Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. So those are the
And
three
they don't do
primetime
anything on
slots.
Saturday night because it's college ball on Saturday.
Well, yeah, Saturdays are for the boys, but anyway, so I kind of saw earlier today. It was the power rankings. Let me see here. Hold on.
NFL power ranking?
Yeah, and it kind of, where did they go?
Cardinals.
Hold on.
Cardinals, Raiders, and Seahawks. Top 3. Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, and Cardinals keep it up.
Well, let me see here. According to ESPN, Tampa Bay is number 1.
Yeah.
The Rams are number 2. The Chiefs are the third rank.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, I got on a different site.
Well, I'm going by ESPN.
Hold on. What side am I doing? I'm doing the NFL Network.
Yeah, I'm going off ESPN.
Because what I have is Buccaneers, Chiefs, Ravens, Rams, Bills, Packers, Niners, Browns, Seahawks, Cardinals, Raiders, Steelers, Broncos, Chargers, Patriots.
Well, what caught my eye today when the power rankings came out, because I think there's Bleacher Report, there's the NFL Network, and then there's ESPN. They each do their own power rankings. But Bleacher Report had the Las Vegas Raiders at number 6. ESPN's got them at number 10. But last week on ESPN's power ranking, they were ranked number 19th in the league. So, here they are. I mean, they're experiencing some success. We'll see how long they can make it last. I'm not a Raiders fan by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still kind of fun to see what's basically been amounted to as the bad news bears of the NFL. I mean, it's like, okay, the Raiders, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to catch a ton of shit for it, but the Raiders fan base and the Cowboys fan base, they're kind of like kindred spirits, because neither team has seen their team win a Super Bowl in 20-plus years.
That is true.
And they're all like, this is going to be our year. This is going to be it. We got a great team. And then they start playing football. And one thing leads to another. Next thing you know, you're like, you're looking down the barrel of another 8-8 season.
My look at it every time I'm like listening to people talk football and everything, they always probably around about I would say November. Mm-hmm. That's when you see the teams come up and play.
Yeah,
and you got a lot of your injured players that go away and come back that time frame.
Yeah,
because a lot of the players get injured during the preseason.
Right.
And then what you have there is after a while they come up, they get healed, they go through their therapy, their physical therapy, they come back and they want to try like twice as harder. And those are sometimes the teams to look out for, sometimes they're not.
Yeah. Now, moving on to baseball.
Wait a minute, one last thing.
No, hey, go for it.
One last thing for the NFL.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Kurt Warner. He's coming out with they're coming out with
Zachary Levi is starring as Kurt Warner in what is it? The
American Underdog.
American Underdog.
The Kurt Warner story.
Yeah. Can you hear me at all? Because I'm like,
yeah.
Okay,
totally
all right, great. So
you're coming in a lot of color.
Yeah, I've been seeing like still photos from the production, from post production. It seems like a kind of a cool story. Kurt Warner. I mean, when the Rams went to the World Series, when the Rams went to the Super Bowl in 2000, and they beat the Titans. Okay. Kurt Warner was like the belle of the ball because, I mean, this guy started out bagging groceries to kind of like make ends meet.
Well, he was still playing football, but he was doing it in those
semi-pro leagues. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's kind of a cool story, but I don't know.
It's basically Invincible 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah. Yeah.
The way I looked at it and everything, the only thing with Invincible, it was he didn't go to college. He didn't have any kind of prompts to go to college or anything, and he just got a chance.
Yeah. So,
which he has I think he has like a car dealership or a tire dealership in Jersey now. The guy that actually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But so the regular season is winding down. Well, I think we're now within 15 games left in the season, something to that effect. Tampa Bay, they've got kind of basically the lock on the division. Mathematically, they still haven't won it yet. Boston's 7 games back. Toronto's got 8.5 games back. The Yankees, they just cannot seem to figure out how to get into the win column consistently. They won yesterday. But
who's the new National League leader now?
For best record, it's still the Giants.
Because, I'm just looking.
But they've only got a one-game lead.
Oh, it's the MVP poll. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, no.
My bad.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into the MVP discussions until after the postseason starts, because traditionally you don't hardly ever see the guy who gets named MVP win the World Series. So, I mean, I get it. They're saying, okay, who's the most valuable player for this league? Who's the most valuable player for this league during the regular season? Who meant the most? In the American League, everybody's just going goo goo gaga over Shohei Ohtani. And I'm like, all right, fine. National League, that's a little bit more of a... I mean, everybody was talking about Fernando Tatis Jr., but, I mean, guy's been playing baseball with his head up his ass here the last couple of days, making some really stupid errors, striking out. I mean, he's just got bad discipline at the plate here lately. And I think a lot of it is just because, I mean, the season's winding down and it's the grind. He knows that their team's probably not going to make the playoffs. So I think he's kind of almost sort of checked out a little bit, because he's really kind of a prima donna. And that goes towards the sportsmanlike conduct. That goes towards the personality in the game. Be a personality, be a positive influence, but show up and play your fucking game. Do your job day in and day out. You get paid to play 162 games a year. And if you're lucky, you get to play bonus baseball, but your contract has stipulations that if you make the postseason, that you get paid for that too. So he just needs to do what he needs to do, and that's play. Pure, plain and simple, hands down. That's all there is to it. Even though San Francisco's got the most wins, they've only got a one-game lead over the Dodgers in the National League West. Both of those teams have clinched playoff berths. Milwaukee also clinched a playoff berth the other day. Atlanta, even though they're leading their division by 3 games, still hasn't even qualified for the playoffs yet. And that's because there's mathematically enough time left for them to just kind of shit the bed and, find themselves on the outside looking in. So that's going to be kind of a who wants to win the American or the National League East the less. That's what it's going to come down to. As far as worst record in the league, I think we're looking at Arizona and Baltimore are really, really, really trying. They're trying to get that first round draft pick next year. I think that's all they're doing at this point. Both teams are 48 and 102.
I've actually seen games to where they literally tossed it because they wanted the number 1 draft.
Oh yeah, you see that especially in the NBA.
And what's really sad is most of the time that number 1 draft is more or less a card that says, "Hey, we get the first draft, but we'll trade it for this, or we'll trade it for this." They usually trade it for favors half the time.
No. Especially in the NFL, the team with the worst record, they get the first overall draft pick. Last year it was Jacksonville. That's why they got Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback out of Clemson.
Okay.
So, when a team realizes that they are going to conduct exit interviews early. They just I guess they kind of have a player meeting, and they're like, okay, we'll at least keep the games close, but as a club, we're looking forward to next year and that number 1 draft pick.
We're hoping to get Bob. Bob's a really good player in that college.
Well, it's not even that. Because, you've got your prospects in the college football right now, and you got juniors and seniors that are projected to go to the draft, but they really watch how these players develop, because, you could get a guy who's a Heisman front runner, and then he just shits the bed the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. Then they call it the draft stock, just drops down the ladder. There's a lot of different things that are going on there, but The wild card standings for the American League, that's kind of heating up. Right now, the Yankees are half a game out of the playoffs.
Okay.
And I think it's hilarious because you see all these like Cole Garrett. Thank you so much. English language. It's my first language, by the way.
I don't believe it.
I don't either. He got booed at Yankee Stadium
Really?
last
Well,
week. Well, he got shelled by the Indians, and he just kind of. I mean, anything and everything he threw up there was just getting hammered. And so when they came and they pulled him out, he actually got booed by the Yankee fans. And I think it's hilarious watching. It's like watching the Democrats eat their own when Yankees fans eat their own. Oh, it's hilarious.
like the governor of New York.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah. But right now, I mean, the three division leaders in the American League are going to be Tampa Bay, Houston, and Chicago for the East, West, and Central. Okay.
But I'm Italian. That's what I do.
Right. Hey, that's what I do, huh?
That was so hilarious. I mean, you're trying to get out how to. This is we're gonna try to make this the only political thing, but it's still, and this is old news. But his whole thing was, well, I'm Italian. That's what we do. We do that. We touchy feely. I touchy feely everybody. Hey, how's it going? Did you just lay a finger in my butt?
No.
We don't do that.
Okay. All right, so in the American League, right now it's Boston and Toronto. They hold the two wild card spots. What's funny is that this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Boston. They weren't supposed to go anywhere. I mean, they weren't supposed to finish last. I mean, that's Baltimore's job. But they weren't supposed to make the playoffs. They weren't even supposed to get close. I mean, like I said, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. So, there's that. Toronto's scary. I mean, they are. They're really, really scary. New York has the potential to be scary, but they have to get out of their own way first. That's all there is to it. Moving over to the National League, San Francisco is in the West, Milwaukee's in the Central, and Atlanta's leading the East. The Dodgers are in it regardless. I mean, there is absolutely no way that they can fall out of contention for the playoffs because they've got a 15.5 game lead over the second wild card spot. And there's not enough games between now and the end of the year for them to go on a huge monumental losing streak. They could lose out the rest of the games. I mean, they could run the table on the losing in the loss column, and they would still make the playoffs. Okay. Cincinnati's occupying the second wild card spot. They've got a 3-game lead over Cincinnati in that department. They have eliminated some teams. Obviously, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Washington, Miami, and Chicago, the Cubs, have been eliminated from playoff contention in the National League. In the American League, Baltimore, and this is from the bottom up, Baltimore, Texas, Minnesota, and Kansas City have all been eliminated. So now, I mean, we're talking about elimination number, or i.e. the magic number. Mm-hmm. The LA Angels and Detroit, they need to lose one more game to be mathematically eliminated. Cleveland can lose 3 more. Seattle has to lose 10 more games. Oakland has to lose 11, and the Yankees have to lose 12. But again, crazier things have happened. Do I see New York kind of having a resurgence? Yes and no. To put it in kind of in perspective, I saw somewhere the Red Sox have to go 7-4 between now and the end of the year, just to make that playoff, and they only have to beat the Yankees one more time to eliminate the Yankees. So there's that, and we play the Yankees 3 more times between now and the end of the season. We're playing the Mets tonight and tomorrow. It's a 2-game set. Breathe, my pasty friend. Breathe.
Wrong pipe.
That's what she said. Anyway, so, yeah, they're playing the Mets tonight and tomorrow. And then they get Thursday off, and then it's a weekend series. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Yankees. Then they get another day off, and then they finish the year. Let's see, they play at Baltimore. And then they finish the season at Washington playing the Nationals for 3 games. The last day of the season is October 3rd. Now, the way that the baseball does this, and they've done this for a reason. Every game on the last day of the regular season starts at the same time. Because what was starting to happen was you started to see a lot of these teams start scoreboard watching, right? And that would dictate how they played that game. You would get teams that would intentionally lose just to keep another team from getting into the playoffs. So you start every game on the last day at the same time. Nobody can watch the scoreboards. I mean, you can watch the scoreboards during the game, but you have to focus on your game. You have to win your game and to put a higher premium on winning that game. And that was one of the changes to the regular season that I loved that the competition committee, the rules committee for Major League Baseball introduced, starting every game at 3:05 Eastern Time on the last day of the year. I think it's cool because, I mean, you've got this full slate of games, and it's just like sensory overload for baseball. It's just like boom, 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 boom. You've got all of these games. Not every one of the games are going to matter, but the games that do matter are going to mean a lot. And so, I mean, those are the games that are going to get the primetime slots. Those are going to get the games that get the higher, the higher click count on MLB.com, things like that. But it's going to be fun because, especially with the teams that have the wild card game coming up, you've got this managerial decision. Do you put your number 1 ace in there, or do you put your number 2 guy in there? It's like, how is my rotation going to work out to where I can figure out who's going to pitch that one game to dictate whether or not we get into the playoffs to go to that divisional round?
Because as soon as they play, they have to do another game, right? Almost like next day or so?
I think it's like a day off, and then they go and they start their divisional round. So,
but sometimes when they play, it takes them like an extra day, depending on how.
If that game goes into like an incredibly insane amount of extra innings, yeah. But it's like, okay, so the winner of the wild card game goes and plays the number 1 seed. Okay, so for the American League, let's say Boston wins the wild card game. Then they have to go play their division rivals at Tampa Bay for a best-of-5 series. And once you get out of the divisional round, then you go to the League Championship Series, either the American League or the ALCS for the American League or the NLCS for the National League. So the winners of the 2 divisional rounds meet in the Championship Series, and then the winners of those Championship Series, the winners of the pennant for either the American or National League, they meet for the World Series, and that's a best-of-7. Okay. So,
because it just seems like soccer with how many seasons there are. Because soccer has the semifinals, and that's not really the finals.
Well, you've got like 60-something soccer teams. I mean, you've got.
Oh, you got.
And I'm just throwing numbers out here, but you've got several different leagues. So don't get that confused. I mean, just because they're playing soccer doesn't mean that they're playing for the same league. Because you're going to have the UEFA champions. You're going to have.
Well, they're still going for the World Cup.
Well, the World Cup qualifiers, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, soccer is almost like a year-round sport. It's so ridiculous. But I mean, baseball is 6 months out of the year, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that. So. But, I mean, it would be nice to be able to watch a World Series game at Fenway in November when I go to Boston. But I'll be just as happy watching it from the Cask and Flagon on Jersey Street. find any restaurant or bar in Boston, and the game will be on. So I mean, that's just a given. But I mean, it's going to be fun regardless. Playoff baseball is what everybody strives for. I mean, yeah, it's that 6-month grind, that 162 game grind. I get all that, and that's awesome. But
Okay, there's only 32 teams for the FIFA World Cup.
well, yeah, because those are national teams.
Okay.
So, whereas if you're going to get like the UEFA or the Champions League or any of the other like the like the Central and South American leagues, there are just so many different conferences, so many different leagues, so many different organizations that organize soccer, and then you've got.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying because I don't see union on here.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I mean, it's easy to get confused by soccer because they've got so many different leagues going, and every league's going to have its own championship series. And at the same time, the national teams are trying to field teams to qualify for the World Cup because that's the one sport that everybody in the world wants to watch. Oh, I could give two shakes of a rat's ass about it, especially if Megan Rapone is still playing for the women's team for the U.S. If that purple-haired annoyance is still playing for the women's national team, I'm tuning out. I just don't care.
I gotcha.
I really don't. But with playoff baseball coming, it's going to be a pretty fast-paced postseason. It's going to actually feel like playoff baseball as opposed to last year when everything was being played in a bubble, with the exception of the National League Championship Series, which was hosted in Texas at the Globe Life Field because it was a neutral site because of the whole COVID thing. And then the World Series was played there too. So, but that one was played in front of fans as well because Governor Abbott was like, "Fucking open the doors and let people play, let people watch." Which I was like, great, because the World Series should not be played in an empty stadium. Screw that.
I wonder how echoey that crack of the bat would be though.
Well, I mean, I was there with
Because watching the
when I went to go see the Red Sox lose to the Rangers. It was a packed stadium, and the acoustics were still great, and there was people in the stadium.
well, listening to the UFC fight when they didn't have any people there, dude.
Yeah, you hear everything.
Yeah, you hear
I mean, you hear some of the most vulgar shit coming out of people's mouths.
Not even that. It was that was it's understandable what happens. He's like, oh, I can finally hear what they're saying on the coaches are saying to the players. That's cool. And then you got after that, that was one thing. It's like I wish they would mic up the coaches. That would be fucking hilarious. You can make a whole YouTube channel of that. But the other thing is you can hear the bone on bone. It just, I mean, it was literal.
Oh, dude,
like.
It's disgusting hearing some of that stuff. What I think is fun, it's like, okay, so, and I thought it was funny because like when the NFL was playing last year and they were piping in crowd noise, it was artificial crowd noise.
Well, there was also that thing that where you could pay like a certain amount of money and you get your
but I mean,
photo taken and they put you on the.
And baseball did the same thing, but
yeah.
I mean, professional sports do not need to be played in
Empty seats.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's a gross misjustice, and I mean those teams are absolutely losing their ass, and I'm just like, oh, okay, but anyway, so yeah, it's. I'm just kind of like, I'm in the mindset that it's like, all right, so we've got this, and this. All right, so we need to play this game here. We need to play that game here.
You're basically, oh, God, I know it was Sunny in Philadelphia. It's always Sunny in Philadelphia where the guy goes like ape shit and he has like this conspiracy theory. You're basically connecting lines and everything
Yeah, well, I don't have it going where I've got urine connecting every room in the house.
Which I'm surprised.
Man, okay, so between my concussion, between trying to work through my concussion and trying to
Do all this stuff through your concussion.
no,
How long does a concussion usually last?
I don't know. I mean, I felt pretty good today.
Okay.
I mean, granted, it was about 15 degrees cooler today than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I feel like I had a little bit more of a spring in my step. So I mean, I'm coming down on the backside of it, and I don't know. I mean, yeah. Do I still consider myself incredibly lucky? You're damn right I do. But I don't know. I mean, I'm coming out of it, and it just I kind of all right. Now I'm going to start dealing with the aftermath of it, as far as like letting the insurance companies fight it out or whatever. But as far as like physically and mentally, I'm pretty much back in the saddle. So it's go me. But between everything that I've got going on, and I've talked to you about the big power move coming up here pretty quick.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, touche.
I am not, or at any point in time, know anything of anything.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's not like you're going to get a phone call from anybody trying to, squeeze information out of you. So, I mean, it's okay. You can admit you know something, but just,
Fuck you, no. I'm not admitting anything. I'm doing that whole Brad Pitt move on the train scene on Ocean's 12.
Okay.
I can't remember the whole line.
I thought you were going to go with Brad Pitt with Between the Two Ferns, and you were going to spit a piece of gum at me and be like, next question.
No, I'd throw something at you. But on another note, Maria.
Fucking fat. I'm not that fat. Like, your nose per capita is fatter than I am. Anyways,
fat floats, right? You means be a floaty motherfucker.
Okay.
Anyways, Maria, our super fan, she actually commented last week's Nerd Sports after we got everything done. She was saying, Johnny, so glad that you're okay. Praise God. Second, David, I have never seen anything other than your profile. This is a nice change of pace. Not that circumstances that brought it about, though. Well done, guys.
Oh yeah, okay. So it was our Zoom episode. That's what.
Oh,
it was, yeah.
Okay. That's what I was.
Yeah. Yeah. That thought came to my mind the other day. I was like sitting there going, huh. I kind of, I wonder, like,
I do feel that I'm better looking than you. I mean, it just feels. I mean, this just. If I get a vote of how many people find me more attractive than you, I would be perfectly fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably end up losing perfectly, horribly.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you kind of roll with that, and yeah.
Right.
But don't be a bit surprised when you wake up in the bathroom and realize that your hand has fallen asleep on you because you're just that bad. That it was all just a dream. And it's not even a wet dream. I mean, it's going to be more like one of those
realization dreams.
It's going to be like one of those like wet farts that's going to itch when it dries.
Oh, I hate those. Because you don't want to like itch it right away because you just hold off and you just like you have to look around because you're gonna have to like
no, I mean, if you get one of those like it's gonna itch when it dry farts. I mean it's one of those. Figure out the priorities for the day. Call it.
No, after that you just go take a shower.
Let me finish. You at the very least take a time out for the day. You go home, you take your underwear, and you either spray them with Shout or you just throw them away, and then you just climb in the shower.
Dude, I've read so many stories that when people do that, they legitimately, they're like in the bathroom and they just toss their fucking drawers.
Okay, so I was in a ruck, and I thought I had to fart. Nope, absolutely not. I've got stomach issues anyway.
Yeah.
So, and
Don't tell me
I'm
you fucking did that.
no, I'm admitting this. Hold on, I'm admitting this. I'm not too proud. I shit myself, right? Just like any good grunt at any point during the course of their life does. They shit.
Marathon runner.
Yeah, we're a marathon runner. I shit on myself, and it wasn't by accident. It wasn't like a full, hey, here's a log falling down my fucking leg. It was one of those. Okay, this was kind of like. It was wet, and I'm like, okay. So I drop my ruck and I go off into the wood line, and I'm just like, okay, my underwear at this point is fucking trashed. So I take my knife and I cut them off of me. I just because I'm not gonna untie my shoes, I'm not gonna pull my pants completely off. So I used my underwear and the wipes that I had, and I cleaned myself up the best that I could. I went commando, free-balled it, pulled my pants back up, got back out on the trail, grabbed my ruck, and...
It's not wow, it's not as bad as Latrell. He has horror stories of doing that through recon. It was, and this is a submersible recon.
Yeah.
Dang it. And this wire's got to go. And they're in wetsuits. And they had that problem. And they just legitimately was like, well, I got to go use the restroom. It's like, no, we got to do this recon. Well, what do I do? Let it all go. We'll scrub you off afterwards. And they legitimately, after they take off the wetsuit, because it all pressurizes and keep everything sealed, so they have to go in and just power wash the guy afterwards.
Yeah, because...
And he describes it as, oh my God, it's the most horrible thing.
It is. It really is, because your skin gets incredibly raw, because it's like, all right...
Well, it's acid.
It is.
And all it is expelled acid.
It is. It's exactly what it is. And I know that our listening audience is either completely horrified, they've tuned out, or in the case of our super fans, she's probably laughing historically.
We killed it 5 minutes ago.
It's historically hysterical. That's what it is. That's what I was going for.
I'm telling you this right now. We probably killed our super fan like 5 minutes ago talking about this.
Probably so.
By accident.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, so in the argument that you tried to make earlier about you being hotter than me, now that everybody knows that I've shit on myself, they probably look at you and they're like, I bet he hasn't shit on himself. He's kind of hot.
Oh, I fucking shit on myself.
Okay, now I'm the hot one again. Yay.
But I've never, got rid of my underwear in such a way.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep that clung to my body.
I'm not going to keep it either, but I'm not going to... I'll throw it in a dumpster.
No, somewhere in the wood line along Lake Wichita.
I'll do something respectful, and I'll throw it in a fucking dumpster.
No, it's somewhere in the wood line along Lake Wichita's trails.
There's your drawers hanging up somewhere.
They're not even hanging up, dude. I cut them completely off, and I just tossed them. So... yeah, there's that. I mean...
I tell you this right now, I actually carry wet wipes in my car because of that. Or something to clean myself with.
Now that I've got storage compartments in the back of my new car, I need to...
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a bad idea. I mean,
that shit sticks.
I keep jumper cables like everybody's supposed to. I keep a first aid kit like a responsible human being is supposed to. Yeah.
Wet knots is next step.
Yeah, okay, so that's next level prep. Okay, all right.
Anyways, thank you for listening.
There was something I wanted to talk about, and I completely forgot. And I guess just it's going to have to fucking wait till next week.
Okay.
Well, hold on, because... so this is episode 24.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to do something like
For
big
25?
for 25.
Oh, you know what? We didn't even say that for the What Hell episodes and the Psychopaths we already recorded. We're up to 50 subscribers.
Oh yeah. So that's what? That's the golden number right there.
Yeah.
So 25 is silver, right? 25 is silver, 50 is gold. The fuck is 75?
I think that's diamond.
Is it diamond? And then you got the 100. So when we get to 100 subscribers, you know what I think we should do? I think we should
I'm not doing what Drinking Bros did.
what did Drinking Bros do?
They had like 2 people have sex right in front of them.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
They regretted that as soon as they did it. It was one of those things. It's like, yeah, we'll do it, and then when they did it, they're like, we're not ever gonna do that again.
Yeah, no.
And they're coming up on 1,000 episodes.
Really? So, all right. So here's what I'm thinking. So for 100 subscribers.
Well, they do. Okay, different. I mean, different podcasts and everything do everything different. I mean, a lot of them do we'll get drunk and do the cast. There's a couple of those episodes. I don't feel
We've
like
got
doing
50 subscribers to figure this out. So, give us some
Yeah.
time. We'll get it figured out. But, I mean, dude, that's huge. I
I'd be
mean,
fucked off if it would be like next week. I'm like, fucking assholes.
Be like-
Why we gotta do something fucked off?
y'all are some viral bitches, man.
I know, right?
It's like,
that would be so fucked up.
I appreciate the props, but
like,
fuck you
damn,
guys. It's
Now we
like,
gotta think.
you guys are shitheads. And oh, wait, no.
Now we gotta do a rush job.
cockwombles.
Cockwombles. Yeah, there you go.
So,
But
yeah.
we hit 50.
God, yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
I was
because now I'm
surprised
looking at it
impressed.
right here. Yeah, absolutely. That is blowing me away. I mean, here we are. I mean, we're just like 2 complete rank amateurs just talking out of our ass for an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, depending on how many episodes that we shoot. And,
We got people that actually listen to us.
right, even if they're just like, oh, well, let's subscribe, and then they forgot that they subscribed to us.
And then one of these days they pick up one of the episodes. They're like, what are these guys talking about? Okay, I'll watch more now.
Yeah,
So, that-
so we hope that we're keeping you entertained. Obviously, we're entertaining somebody. But, for 50 subscribers, they're awfully quiet, with the exception of, say, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah. Mike and
Maria.
are the only ones that really comment.
Y'all need to get a
Well,
little bit more active.
We do on the psychos and sociopaths ones. We get more random people.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've seen one that. Well, she was freaking hot. I hope that was her profile photo, but I
Probably
couldn't,
not.
I couldn't cyber stalk her. That kind of upset me.
Wow.
I was really upset about that.
Jesus.
I had to cry a little bit after that.
Oh, my
But
God.
no, I guess we'll figure it out later. And I'm David Dickerman.
I am Johnny Skelton.
And thank you for listening, Nerd Sports.